Yo, welcome everyone, Sanju Che here, and welcome back to the channel where, of course, as you can tell by today's video title, we'll be having another Boruto manga discussion as we head into Boruto Manga Chapter 81 and beyond the potential time skip. And of course, we're still on hiatus when it comes on to the Boruto manga, so we still have at least a month and a half or 2 months before the return of the story by Masashi Kishimoto, quote unquote. But anyway, yeah, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Of course, we're just having a nice casual, chill, laid back conversation or discussion when it comes on to the future of the story. Now, of course, where we left off with Boruto Chapter 80, we had Ada, who had used omnipotence to switch everyone's shared memory of Boruto and Kawaki, making Kawaki Uzumaki in the eyes of everyone, the son of Naruto, who, fought Momoshiki, who cheated in the exam, etc., etc. And Boruto is essentially the person that Jigen adopted and was a member of Kara who escaped and came to the village, an outsider, so to speak. And of course, that kind of set the stage for Boruto and Sasuke to actually leave the village, seemingly setting up things for what everyone has been asking for, the Boruto time skip, right? But the question remains like, if he's leaving the village, and given the pacing of the story, what would be the perfect scene? How does Boruto actually return to the village, so to speak? And I'm actually thinking probably the best stage for Boruto to return to the village has to be the opposite of how Naruto Uzumaki returned to the village after his time skip training. Because of course, even though we're drawing inspiration from that section of the story, we have to do things to make Boruto as a series and a character be somewhat distinct, at least in some places here and there. I'm just being honest, right? So I think having that distinction for Naruto, who returned in quote unquote peace, a peaceful way, why not have it be a chaotic stage, so to speak, for Boruto to return to the village? So I'm thinking, given the nature of where the story is at, code has to play a part in all of this. And I think persons more than likely would have thought of this already, but given the nature of what's happening, we'll more than likely have to have a funeral for Naruto at some point. But given the nature of the fact that most resources, I think, or I believe, will be dedicated to hunting down Boruto and Sasuke, the funeral might be delayed. In addition to the fact that, of course, Shikamaru and company are still on the watch out or on the guard for Code to attack. Now, of course, in the eyes of Code, Boruto is the person who took everything away from him, Jigen, Ishiki, Ada, and he wants to destroy everything that's valuable to Boruto, who, before it would have been Kawaki, but due to the fact that they have switched places, it's now Boruto essentially, and Kawaki is now the target of Code to be, sacrificed to the Ten Tails. Now, given how things are set, right, I think the perfect stage would be a chapter where Boruto is not in it for like 90% of the chapter. We set the stage, right? We have Naruto's funeral, we have things that kind of re-emphasize that what persons, the viewer and in-story characters loved about Naruto Uzumaki. And of course, we'll have Sumeri and Sarada there, who aren't affected by omnipotence for some reason that we still don't know yet, but we could definitely get some nice reactions and see how they're fitting in as quote-unquote double agents, as I would put it at this point in time. So we have that. We have Code, who's coming in with his army of 1,000 and more. Granted, the question still remains how he's going to approach the village, considering in chapter 77, I believe, if not 76, he expressed interest in attacking Konoha with his Clog Rhyme or his Ten Tails army of 1,000 and still growing, but he was wary of Ada, who will be able to see him approach. So I'm kind of wondering if, okay, let me save that for later. But the fact of the matter is, in this hypothetical situation, I'm thinking Code attacks Naruto's funeral essentially, right? And we kind of establish the triple threat, the three-way standoff essentially, to really kick off the quote-unquote time skip, where of course Code attacks the village with a clog rhyme army. We have the forces of Konoha, who are more or less led by Kawaki and Shikamaru. And of course they're struggling, and we have Boruto Uzumaki, who appears at the end of the chapter fresh from his training, so to speak, with Sasuke, if anything doesn't happen to Sasuke in the interim. And yeah, we have the stage set for an amazing start to the time skip, essentially. Now I think I'd love that in terms of having it be that chaotic, like chapter 82, not necessarily chapter 81 though, because I think chapter 81 might spend some time exploring some last minute or last few things pre-time skip. I think it would more so chapter 82. So I'm not even talking about the upcoming chapter per se. But yeah, I'm thinking that would be a nice stage to really drive home, yo, this is a very chaotic start to the time skip, essentially. And I think it could potentially work, if you ask me. Now the only concerns I'm kind of having is that in terms of Code approaching the village, right? I mean, Ada is still more likely going to be looking out for him. So I'm kind of trying to envision how Code actually manages to get to the village to attack it. Now I know Ada, and this is like, I don't know if I should say 50-50 in terms of the the idea of it. I don't really want to propose like a Code Boruto team up, but I would imagine, given the clog rhyme army and them more like they're going to be all over the place, probably multi-country more than likely. One of them probably will spot Boruto and Sasuke, and more than likely Code might have a confrontation with Boruto, like before going to the village. And maybe just maybe, don't crucify me, we could have a temporary alliance. But it's kind of hard to envision that, considering that Code wants to destroy the village, and of course Sasuke and Boruto wouldn't agree with that. But right now it's the only way I could see, because Ada has agreed not to really look for Boruto per se. So I don't know if Code travels with Boruto, maybe, just maybe. But yeah, it doesn't flow as well, I will admit. It's anyone's guess how we'd actually get to that point, unless something is done to incapacitate Ada for the long run. Maybe something happens between Ada and Sarada and Sumeri, and maybe a clog rhyme is probably sneaks into the village or something and witnesses that Ada's been knocked out. It's like, oh yo, this is the time, fam. Maybe, just maybe. But yeah, not the most concrete way concrete idea, really and truly. But I do like the image of the backdrop of Naruto's funeral, right? It's kind of like, even though Naruto's not dead, it's kind of signifying that I've talked about this before, the fact that since Naruto has been sealed, it is like ever since that chapter and the following chapter after that, which would have been 78, I believe, that chapter would have been this true spiritual chapter 1 of the Boruto story. But I think having Naruto's funeral as a backdrop going into, say, chapter 82 would really signify the passing away of, oh, Naruto was involved with this story. Aside, it's kind of like a re-emphasis of that, apart from the fact that he's been sealed away. So I think that would be a good backdrop. And of course, the chaos of the time skip starting in such a chaotic way, maybe really and truly could allow the story to stand out distinctly from Naruto, at least when you compare time skip to time skip, like first chapter of the time skips, essentially. So let me know what you think about that for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of just put my idea out there, see what you guys think about, potentially how Boruto comes back to the village, how Code potentially might attack the village, how he's going to get there, probably even Code's reintroduction. Well, Code's reintroduction to the series, essentially, in terms of him making a proactive move. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But anyway, rambled on long enough. Sandra Uchiha, guys, and thanks for tuning in to this very casual discussion here. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Boruto video.